All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Sunil Verma. The headlines: Joe Biden takes over as President and Kamala Devi Harris as Vice President of United States. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulates two leaders on assumption of office. Cabinet approves 5,282 crore rupees investment for Ratle hydropower project in Jammu and Kashmir. Government proposes to suspend new farm laws for 1.5 years. Supreme Court rejects petition seeking re-examination of its 2018 verdict, declaring Aadhaar Act valid and constitutional. Full Election Commission arrives in Kolkata to review poll preparations in West Bengal to meet political parties today. And first, Khelo India Zanskar Winter Sports Festival begins today in Ladakh. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. Now the news. Joe Biden took oath as the 46th President of the United States of America at a scaled-back ceremony in the U.S. Capitol building in Washington last night that was largely stripped of its usual pomp due to the coronavirus and security concerns. In his first speech as U.S. President, Mr. Biden vowed to defeat political extremism and white supremacy.
This is America's day. This is democracy's day. A day of history and hope, of renewal and resolve. Through a crucible for the ages, America has been tested anew, and America has risen to the challenge. Today, we celebrate the triumph not of a candidate, but of a cause, the cause of democracy. The people, the will of the people, has been heard, and the will of the people has been heeded. We've learned again that democracy is precious. Democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed.
He spoke of unifying the country and pledged that he will be the president for all Americans. He said America has been tested and they have come out stronger. Mr. Biden said they will repair their alliances and engage once again. 78-year-old Biden has become the oldest U.S. president in history. His deputy, Kamala Devi Harris, was also sworn in as 49th Vice President of the country. The daughter of immigrants from Jamaica and India, Kamala Devi Harris made history as America's first woman and first person with South Asian roots to take the office of the Vice President. Lady Gaga sang the national anthem of the United States, and Jennifer Lopez performed with the U.S. Marines Band at the inauguration ceremony at the U.S. Capitol. Former Presidents Barack Obama, George W. Bush and Bill Clinton were present on this occasion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Joe Biden on his assumption of office as President of the United States. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said he looks forward to working with him to strengthen India-US strategic partnership. He also extended best wishes to the new president for a successful term in leading U.S. as we stand united and resilient in addressing common challenges and advancing global peace and security. The Prime Minister said India-US partnership is based on shared values and the two countries have a substantial and multifaceted bilateral agenda, growing economic engagement and vibrant people-to-people linkages. Mr. Modi said he is committed to working with President Joe Biden to take the India-US partnership to even greater heights. Prime Minister also congratulated new U.S. Vice President Kamala Devi Harris. He said it is a historic occasion. Mr. Modi added that he is looking forward to interact with her to make India-US relations more robust. The Prime Minister said the India-US partnership is beneficial for our planet.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has congratulated and extended best wishes to the new U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Devi Harris. He said, India-US ties are based on many shared values and expressed confidence that the partnership between the two nations will get further cemented in the coming years. U.S. President Joe Biden has begun to undo some of Donald Trump's key policies hours after being sworn in. President Biden signed 15 executive orders, firstly to boost the federal response to the coronavirus crisis. Other orders reverse the Trump administration's stance on climate change and immigration. A series of measures will be enacted to tackle the coronavirus pandemic, which has claimed more than 4 lakh lives in the U.S. There will be a mandate to wear masks and practice social distancing on all federal government property. A new office will be set up to coordinate the response to the pandemic, and the U.S. will halt the process of withdrawing from the World Health Organization, WHO. Mr. Biden has also pledged to make the fight against climate change a top priority of his administration. He signed an executive order beginning the process of rejoining the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement, from which Mr. Trump formally withdrew the U.S. last year. Mr. Biden has also revoked the presidential permit granted to the controversial Keystone XL pipeline, which environmentalists and Native American groups have fought for more than a decade.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has released financial assistance of around 2,691 crore rupees to over 6 lakh beneficiaries in Uttar Pradesh under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin PMAYG through video conferencing. The financial assistance includes release of first installment to 5.30 lakh beneficiaries and second installment to 80,000 beneficiaries who have already availed the first installment of assistance under PMAYG. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister asserted that Atmanirbhar Bharat is directly linked to the self-confidence of the citizens of the country, and a house of one's own enhances this self-confidence manyfold. He listed out various development projects underway in Uttar Pradesh.
अनेक एक्सप्रेसवे का तेजी से चल रहा काम, तो दूसरी तरफ एम्स जैसे बड़े संस्थान मेरठ एक्सप्रेसवे लेकर बुंदेलखंड गंगा एक्सप्रेसवे तक यूपी में विकास की रफ्तार तेज करेंगे। यही वजह है कि आज यूपी में बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियां भी आ रही हैं और छोटे छोटे उद्योगों के लिए भी रास्ते खुले हैं। यूपी की वन डिस्ट्रिक्ट वन प्रोडक्ट इस योजना से स्थानीय कारीगरों को फिर से काम मिलने लगा है। हमारे गांव में रहने वाले स्थानीय कारीगरों की, गरीबों की, श्रमिकों की यही आत्मनिर्भरता आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लक्ष्य को पूरा करेगी।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the 18th Convocation of Tespur University, Assam at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow through video conferencing. The event will witness the conferring of degrees and diplomas upon 1,218 students who passed out in 2020. Among the degree recipients, 48 toppers of various undergraduate and postgraduate programs will be awarded gold medals. The convocation will be held in hybrid manner, observing the COVID-19 protocols.
The Cabinet has given its approval for the investment of over 5,200 crore rupees for 850 megawatt Ratle hydroelectric HE project located on River Chenab in Kishtwar in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. This will be a new joint venture company, JVC, of National Hydroelectric Power Corporation, NHPC, and Jammu, and Kashmir State Power Development Corporation Limited, JKSPDC, with equity contribution of 51% and 49% respectively. The government is also supporting the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory by providing grant of 776.44 crore rupees for equity contribution of JKSPDC in the JVC to be set up for construction of Ratle HE project. The Ratle hydroelectric project shall be commissioned within 60 months. The power generated from the project will help in providing balancing of grid and it will improve the power supply position. Our correspondent reports the construction activities of the project will provide direct and indirect employment to around 4,000 persons and will contribute immensely in the overall socio-economic development of Jammu and Kashmir.
The 10th round of talks between the central government and 41 farmers' unions was held at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi yesterday. The meeting was attended by Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal, and Minister of State for Commerce and Industry Som Prakash, and representatives of farmers' unions. The next round of talks between the central government and farmers' unions will be held on the 22nd of January. Addressing media in New Delhi after the meeting, Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said that during discussion, the government has proposed to the farmer unions that the implementation of farm laws should be kept on hold for a period of 1 to 1.5 years. He said during this time, representatives of farmer unions and the government can discuss all issues related to the farmers' agitation so that an appropriate solution can be arrived at. Mr. Tomar said during the talks, the representatives of the farmer unions said that they will discuss the government's proposal in detail and will come for dialogue tomorrow.
हमने विस्तार पूर्वक उन्हें कहा कि कानूनों पर विचार करना है और आंदोलन से जुड़े विभिन्न पहलुओं पर विचार करना है, तो निश्चित रूप से समय तो चाहिए और समय चाहिए तो वो समय 6 महीने का भी हो सकता है, 1 साल का भी हो सकता है, 1.5 साल का भी हो सकता है और सरकार 1-1.5 साल तक भी कानून के क्रियान्वयन को स्थगित करने के लिए सहमत है। इस दौरान किसान और सरकार के प्रतिनिधि मिलकर समस्याओं का हल खोजें और जो समाधान हो उस समाधान को आगे बढ़ाया जाए।
The Agriculture Minister once again reiterated that the farm laws are going to bring about revolutionary change in the life of farmers and in the agriculture sector. Government has said that more than 81 lakh paddy farmers have benefited from current Kharif marketing season procurement operations with minimum support price MSP value of over 1,08,000 crore rupees. Agriculture Ministry said government continues to procure Kharif crops at its minimum support price from farmers as per its existing MSP schemes. Around 572 lakh tons of paddy have been procured from Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana, Uttarakhand, Tamil Nadu, Chandigarh, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and other states. Government through its nodal agencies has also procured over 2,98,000 tons of moong, urad, groundnut pods and soybean, benefiting around 1,60,000 farmers.
The Supreme Court has rejected petitions seeking re-examination of its 2018 verdict, which declared Aadhaar Act valid and constitutional. A 5-judge bench of the Apex Court dismissed the petitions by a majority of 4:1. The review petitions were considered by the bench of Justices A.M. Khanvilkar, D.Y. Chandrachud, Ashok Bhushan, S. Abdul Nazir and B.R. Gawai in chamber on January the 11th, and the order was uploaded on the Supreme Court website yesterday. While Justices Khanvilkar, Bhushan, Nazir and Gawai were in favour of dismissal of the review petitions, Justice Chandrachud disagreed with his brother judges and said the review petitions should be kept pending until the issue of validity of a certification of Aadhaar Bill as a money bill is settled by a larger constitution bench. The majority of 4 judges, however, said no case was made out to review the 2018 verdict. BJP National President JP Nadda has written a letter to the party workers on completion of 1 year as party president. In his letter marked to the party workers, Mr. Nadda expresses gratitude to them that during challenging times of COVID-19 pandemic, they worked towards strengthening the BJP under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Joe Biden takes over as president and Kamala Devi Harris as vice president of the United States. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulates the two leaders on assumption of office. Cabinet approves 5,282 crore rupees investment for Ratle Hydro Power Project in Jammu and Kashmir. Government proposes to suspend new farm laws for 1.5 years. Supreme Court rejects petition seeking re-examination of its 2018 verdict, declaring Aadhaar Act valid and constitutional. Full Election Commission arrives in Kolkata to review poll preparations in West Bengal to meet political parties today. And first, Khelo India Zanskar Winter Sports Festival begins today in Ladakh. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
The full bench of the Election Commission of India arrived in Kolkata yesterday on a 3-day visit to take stock of the law and order situation and poll preparedness for the ensuing assembly elections in West Bengal. The bench comprises Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora, Election Commissioners Sushil Chandra and Rajiv Kumar. The bench held a meeting with the CEO of West Bengal, Ariz Aftab, yesterday evening. The ADG Police Law and Order, Gyanwant Singh, was also present in the meeting. The bench will be meeting with the representative of different political parties and officials of poll-related regulatory agencies today. They are also scheduled to meet divisional commissioners, DM and SPs of the districts and senior administrative officials, including the Chief Secretary, Home Secretary and DGP over the next 2 days. Union Health Ministry has said that a total of 14,119 sessions of COVID-19 vaccination were conducted in 20 states and union territories of the country. 112,007 beneficiaries were vaccinated on the 5th day yesterday since the launch of the world's largest COVID-19 vaccination drive on 16th of this month. Addressing media in New Delhi, Additional Health Secretary Dr. Manohar Agnani said a total of 7,86,842 beneficiaries have been vaccinated in 5 days. He said there were no cases of any serious or severe adverse event following immunization AEFIs attributable to vaccination reported till date in the country. Dr. Agnani also informed that Co-Win software has also been enhanced and a new feature has been added in the ongoing session.
कोविन सॉफ्टवेयर उसमें भी हम संशोधन करते जा रहे हैं और एक नया फीचर इसमें हमने ऐड किया है जिसको हम अलॉट बेनिफिशियरी है जो पहले से ही ऑनगोइंग सेशंस है उसमें इसको जोड़ा है। इसका उद्देश्य ये है कि हम अधिकतम लोगों को जोड़ सकें और हमारी जो कवरेज है वो बेहतर हो सके, लेकिन जो बेनिफिशियरीज ऑलरेडी रजिस्टर्ड हैं डेटाबेस में उन्हीं के लिए ये सुविधा है। और इस इन्हांसमेंट में हमने ये भी प्रावधान किया है कि यदि किसी व्यक्ति का नाम तलाशना हो तो डेटाबेस में उसके मोबाइल नंबर के माध्यम से खोजा जा सकता है।
India has started the supply of COVID vaccines to its neighboring and key partner countries. India yesterday dispatched the COVID vaccines to Bhutan and Maldives under Vaccine Maitri initiative. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said that Vaccine Maitri has begun and the consignment has reached Bhutan. The number of COVID-19 tests conducted in the national capital has crossed the 1 crore mark yesterday. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has termed it as a new record. He said, with a focus on increased testing and treatment, Delhi has successfully contained the scale and spread of corona infection. The positivity rate in the national capital stood at 0.36%. Bihar is reporting more recoveries than fresh corona cases. 257 patients recovered during the last 24 hours, while 206 new cases were reported. So far, 254,765 patients have recovered from the COVID-19 infection in the state. No fresh case has been reported from 15 districts out of 38 districts in the state.
In Odisha, about 8,000 healthcare workers were vaccinated in 93 session sites yesterday. The state has targeted to immunize 3.38 lakh healthcare and frontline workers during the first phase of the vaccination drive by the end of this month. More details from our Odisha correspondent.
Full 4 days into the COVID-19 immunization exercise, and the state has not reported a single case of acute adverse event following vaccination. On the other hand, the gap between the Delhi case discovery and recovery has been closing up fast, leaving behind fewer than 1,500 active cases as of now. Meanwhile, devotees of Lord Jagannath in Puri can now have darshan of the deities without producing COVID-19 negative report from today onwards, though with COVID-appropriate behavior in place. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Karnataka crossed 1 lakh mark in the COVID vaccination. So far, 1,17,407 healthcare workers were vaccinated against COVID-19 in the state. The targeted beneficiaries were 2,04,039 and achievement was 58%. More details from our Bengaluru correspondent.
In Karnataka, on the 5th day yesterday, 34,583 healthcare workers were vaccinated, which is 55% of the target beneficiaries. The Brihat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palika BBMP vaccinated 3,803 healthcare workers, which is about 56% of the total beneficiaries enrolled for the vaccine yesterday. Meanwhile, 501 new COVID-19 positive cases were reported during the last 24 hours. At the same time, 665 people fueled and discharged from various hospitals in in the state. 4 COVID patients lost their lives and the total fatalities have increased to 12,185. R. Murthy, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Talking to All India Radio News, Dr. Tanuja Manoj Nisari, Director, All India Institute of Ayurveda, said that it is important to continue to take safety precautions even after the COVID vaccination.
कोरोना का जो टीका है एक बार लगेगा, फिर से दूसरा डोज और 1 महीने के बाद लगेगा, तो उसके बाद टैबलेट लेने की जरूरत नहीं है। लेकिन उसके साथ साथ जो आपको इम्यूनिटी बढ़ाने वाले जो आप प्रतिबंधात्मक उपचार ले रहे हैं उसको भी लेते रहना चाहिए, जिसके के कारण कोई भी जो अभी हम संरक्षक उपाय कर रहे हैं कि 2 गज की दूरी, मास्क है जरूरी, हाथ सबकी सफाई रखना, सभी जगह स्वच्छता का पालन करना, ताजा खाना, नींद अच्छी लेना, ये बहुत जरूरी।
Today is the 6th day of the International Film Festival of India, IFFI, which is going on at Panaji. Though on a hybrid mode, that is physical and virtual, the festival has evoked very good response. More from our Panaji correspondent.
Director Prithviraj Dasgupta, while speaking about his film Green Blackberries, said that it depicts the story of children in the remote villages in northeastern India. The difficulties children face to acquire education prompted me to carry forward this struggle in a film medium, he added. His film is included in the non-feature category of Indian Panorama. Gupta said that it was a long journey of 2.5 years to conceptualize the idea of the film. In the meanwhile, director Martina Sakova of Summer Rebels, an IFFI World Panorama film, said that her film promotes friendship, trust and belongingness. With Tushar Jadhav, Mukesh Thadi for AIR News from Panaji.
In Ladakh, the first ever Khelo India Zanskar Winter Sports Festival will begin today at Padum in Kargil district today. Union Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju will inaugurate the event. Our lay correspondent has filed this report.
The Khelo Zanskar Winter Sport and Youth Festival is being introduced as an annual event in Zanskar to showcase its potential of adventure tourism and sports. The event is planned to promote winter tourism in Ladakh. Main feature of the 13-day festival are ice climbing, trekking on frozen Zanskar River, ice hockey, snow sculpture and ethnic food festival. The festival is being organized by the Ladakh UT administration to explore adventure tourism through sport in Zanskar. Yangchen Dolma for AIR News from Leh Ladakh.
The provisional payroll of EPFO released yesterday revealed that it has added around 10.11 lakh net subscribers in November last year. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, EPFO has added around 45.29 lakh net subscribers base in the current financial year from April to November 2020. The data published comprises of members who have joined during the month and whose contribution has been received. Age-wise analysis indicates that during November 2020, the age bracket of 22 to 25 has registered highest growth in subscriber base with around 2.72 lakh net enrollments. This was followed by 18 to 21 age bracket with around 2.21 lakh net enrollments. The 18 to 25 age group members can be considered as fresh hands in the labour market and have contributed roughly 49% of the new subscriber additions for November 2020.
India and the EU have held their first maritime security dialogue in a virtual format. The consultations involved exchanges on developments in maritime security environment, regional cooperation activities, developments of mutual interest and opportunities for cooperation between India and the EU. The EU-India Maritime Dialogue was chaired by Director Joanne Belfort on the European Union, External Action Services side and Joint Secretary Sandeep Arya on the Indian side. The dialogue seeks to develop mutual understanding and cooperation opportunities between India and the EU in the maritime security domain as another factor of the strategic partnership between the two sides, consistent with the India-EU roadmap to 2025.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital witnessed moderate fog. The city temperature will hover between 8 and 19 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was around 15 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 28 degrees. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky. The temperatures will vary between 22 and 30 degrees Celsius. In Kolkata, there was fog in the morning and the state will have partly cloudy sky later. The city observed a minimum temperature of around 16 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 27 degrees. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperatures will hover between -5 and 10 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was around 7 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 22 degrees. Leh will have partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was around 13 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 1 degree. Gilgit will have partly cloudy sky. The temperatures will hover between -6 and 11 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will witness mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will hover between 3 and 18 degrees Celsius. Dehradun observed minimum temperature of around 6 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 21 degrees. The city will have mainly clear sky. Chandigarh had fog in the morning and will have mainly clear sky later. The temperature is likely to hover between 9 and 23 degrees Celsius. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature was around 17 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 30 degrees. The city witnessed fog in the morning and will have partly cloudy sky later. Ahmedabad will witness clear skies. The minimum temperature was around 15 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 31 degrees. In Patna, there was fog in the morning and the city will have mainly clear sky later. The temperatures will move between 10 and 21 degrees Celsius. And in Guwahati, there shall generally be cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature was around 14 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 23 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Most newspapers today lead with stories on Joe Biden becoming the 46th President of the United States. The Asian Age headline reads, Biden will reunite broken U.S., re-engage with world, while the Hindu leads with Biden, sworn in, delivers message of unity, hope. With the country all set towards its humanitarian mission, India starts dispatching COVID-19 shots to neighboring countries, writes the statesman. In a bid to dispel safety concerns, Covaxin recipients to be monitored for 3 months after second dose, informs the Hindustan Times. With the Supreme Court dismissing petitions seeking re-examination of its verdict on the Aadhaar Act, SC rejects Aadhaar review plea in 4:1 verdict, says the Times of India. Amid strong global cues, markets surge to record highs, writes the Financial Express. And finally, India's victory at Brisbane has far-reaching effects going beyond the cricket arena. Cricket hits an advertising six after historic win. Ad rates for upcoming India-England series up 10 to 15%, writes the Business Standard.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Joe Biden takes over as President and Kamala Devi Harris as Vice President of United States. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulates two leaders on assumption of office. Cabinet approves 5,282 crore rupees investment for Ratle hydropower project in Jammu and Kashmir. Government proposes to suspend new farms laws for 1.5 years. Supreme Court rejects petitions seeking re-examination of its 2018 verdict declaring Aadhaar Act valid and constitutional. Full Election Commission arrives in Kolkata to review poll preparations in West Bengal to meet political parties today. And first Khelo India Zanskar Winter Sports Festival begins today in Ladakh. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.